Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. We are thrilled to have Darlene and Rob presenting today, along with our special guest, Nick Robinson from Goodwill. Before we get started, I just have a couple of housekeeping items to go over. So everyone is muted by default. So if you have any questions, you can drop those in the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. And at the end of the session, we'll have a dedicated session to answer as many questions as we can. We'll also be launching a few polls during the session, so please participate in those as those pop up. And I'm actually going to put the first one up right now for you to answer. And then I will hand it over to Darlene, Rob, and Nick. So you should see that poll in just a second here. And I'll hand it over to you, Darlene.
All right, terrific. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Thrift Production Manager webinar, also known as TPM. I want to thank you all for taking time out of your busy day to be with us. My name is Darlene McQueen. I'm one of the hosts of today's events. Also presenting with me is Rob Pavek, who's our TPM Implementation Manager, and also our guest host, which is Nick Robinson from Goodwill, Northwest Texas. Our goal today is to introduce you to a powerful solution that is designed for the unique needs of a thrift retailer. TPM was built to streamline your backroom productions, making it easier for you to manage workflow, improve pricing efficiency, gain real-time visibility into your production staff, as well as your products and sell-through. What I want to do is let's go through an overview. My slides are going to be quick because we're going to jump right into product. So quick overview. Rob's going to do our product demonstration, and then we'll do implementation overview, and then we'll do a Q&A with Nick Robinson. And then we'll open it up for the entire team. So really any questions that you have, we're going to leave plenty of room at the end of this presentation to ask them. All right, so whether you're looking to reduce manual processes, improve your team's accountability, or even just make smarter decisions based on the data, TPM is going to offer you the tools to help you run more efficiently and also be more profitable. I'm not going to dive too deep into this slide because Rob's going to show many of these features. A couple of things I just wanted to call out. TPM is a browser-based application, so you can access it from the web. It runs on Windows-based technology, uses industry standard technology like Zebra label printers. And it works seamlessly today with NCR Counterpoint, but also provides an API for easy integration with other point-of-sale systems. So if you like your current point-of-sale system, but you need to manage your backroom, then TPM is a great solution for you. These are some of our customers who adopted TPM, and we have 3 more customers who are just about to enter projects to get their teams up on the TPM application as well. So I'll just leave this slide here for a little bit. Happy to provide you with references so you can reach out to any of the individuals on the slide also. All right, well, I'm going to stop my share here, and I'm going to let Rob take over and show you TPM. Go ahead, Rob.
Wonderful. Thank you, Darlene. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, I got it.
Awesome. All right. So, hi, everyone. Thanks again for joining us today. I'm excited to walk you through what a real-world look at Bridgeworks TPM is in action. We're going to focus on how this platform supports pricing control, production management, and scaling operations, all within your own control without needing constant vendor intervention. So the 3 core areas we're going to be focusing on today are the production screen, which is highlighted here as seen, where this is where efficient, high-volume item creation and smart pricing strategies come together. We'll also be reviewing the admin tools, which give you full control to manage goals, labels, pricing logic, and more, all without relying on support, as well as the company portal where you're going to manage your users, departments, and store structure. This will help with scalable growth and future inventory management features like warehouse are being built. we're going to touch into that. So now let's go ahead and get started with the demo. So let's begin with the production screen. This is where the process truly begins for thrift organizations when it comes to managing donated goods. One of the biggest advantages here is the ability to produce donated items efficiently. Rather than entering SKUs individually, you can batch process items quickly and efficiently, which significantly speeds up workflow on the floor. The key tool that supports this is the stay on screen method. So with that, let's go ahead and get into producing an item using this more efficient organized technique. So we're going to start with our department, women's clothing. And then we're going to go into the category that we're going to be producing today. So let's say we're going to do dresses today. As you can see here, here is the production screen that we're going to be able to see. Quantity, if it's a piece count, that will show that it's 1 of 2, 2 of 2. We also have labels that are predefined for each category department combination, automatically set, so the producer doesn't have to think about it. We have an RCS AI brand assistant. So say this women's dress is coming from Calvin Klein. As you can see here, based on the AI price, a women's dress would normally go for around $89. That can either be submitted by the producer or changed to a price that better fits their location and demographic. So let's go ahead and talk about one of those efficient methods that I said would really help with workflow. You can click this button right here, stay screen. And by staying within the same department and category during production, teams can strategically organize how they stage and sort donated goods. So this reduces time spent switching between departments and leads to smoother, faster production cycles with a more structured approach. So essentially, I say, okay, and my Z-Rack has all women's dresses right at the front, same department, same category. All I need to verify is the size and the condition. So we'll go through and we'll produce a couple already as if we're producing on the floor. We've got a medium, average. It's going to be the best price. Oh, sweet. I have an extra large distressed, better price. Extra small, like new, best. I just produced 3 items in the span of less than a minute by utilizing this feature. As you can see here, we also have a different pricing strategies that can be structured for your operations needs. Women's clothing in specific right here is using quality and condition model. So each item is assigned 1 of 3 conditions, distressed, average to like new. And within each condition, there are 3 quality price points. This creates a matrix of 9 distinct pricing tiers. This gives your team the ability to price with precision and consistency. So choosing distressed opens up a distressed price point, average, and like new respectively. So 9 price points available for a producer to use at their discretion. I also want to show you another price point that we can utilize, and it's called the good, better, best model. So I'll do electronics here to use the good, better, best model. And we'll go into mobile phone. As you can see, the label was already predefined, ready to go, set up. And then you have a simple 3-point price tiers. Good, better, best. This is easy for staff to understand and apply while maintaining uniformity across all your locations. So with that, we have one more to review, and that's going to be vinyl records. So let's go into our media department, hit vinyl records. As you can see, the label is predefined. So what we call this is a price list. Producers can choose from up to 20 predefined price points. This gives you the flexibility to handle everything from common pressings in the case of vinyl records to rare collector's editions, all without guesswork, providing the producer, a wide variety of price point options based on what they're producing, not just specifically vinyl records. So, taking the guesswork out of it really helps provide efficiency within your model of processing. So I also wanted to speak on how the system supports configurable price groups. This allows you to tailor pricing by location or item type. It also gives you the flexibility to maintain strong margins on premium products while staying competitive on value-driven items in your market. An example of that would be, our store Enfield here, well, we have a boutique section that we really like to sell high value items for. We can choose boutique right here. And as you can see, that price list just jumped up in price points based on the store group pricing that I chose. This can be, in this example alone, this is within one single store, but you can also group stores together based on their demographics. So multiple use cases for that. What's just as is important, let's see here. I guess what's just as important as pricing is engagement and visibility. So producers not only find the system easy to learn and navigate, they also get access to a real-time dashboard, which is permission-based, mind you, that helps them stay informed and motivated. So we have a dashboard right here for the producer to view, which provides the company totals. This allows producers, to view current production stats across the organization. And of course, this can either be allowed or not allowed based on role permissions. One key note option that they have available to them that really helps, in my opinion, is the top producers. This is a live leaderboard based on quantity or dollar value, which encourages healthy competition and keeps the team striving for their daily goals, which is also configured and highly customizable by you. And then we also have the ability to view the history of what this user produced during the day. You can either reprint the tag at this point in time, or say you made a mistake and you actually needed to update and make this a $21 item. Well, you can delete it out and then reproduce the item and keeping accuracy in the production user's totals. So another option, which is the last and final option on the production screen that the producer can be able to utilize, is the scan, pull, rag out functionality. This allows producers to quickly identify and pull items based on weak color coding and making inventory rotation and clearance workflows more efficient. It's as simple as putting your scanner in the barcode and entering in these items, and it populates a list, and you're able to rag those out and pull them out efficiently without having to take too much time on the floor. So all of this contributes to a faster, more transparent, more organized production environment. And, honestly, best of all, you control the rules, pricing structures, labels, sizes, conditions, all workflows. Those are fully self-configurable, empowering your team to adapt quickly as your business evolves. The result? A highly efficient production process, pricing that aligns with your strategy, and a team that's more engaged and empowered to perform that their best. So now that we're done with the fun part, the production side, we're going to go into the admin screen. So I'm going to go over here and switch to the admin. And then, this is one of the areas that Nick really appreciated when transitioning into TPM when I was working with him on onboarding. So we're going to start with the report section. These reports are tailored to reflect your operational structure and help drive smarter, faster decisions. Whether you're monitoring employee productivity, tracking department level performance, or analyzing sell-through data, the tools are right here. So here's a breakdown of the tools that are available. Nick, I'm going to shoot this over to you. Feel free to jump in here. Which one of these has been the most useful to you in terms of managing your team or improving production strategy?
Thanks, Rob. So the one really my team utilizes the most is our sell-through report. Having it connect in between Counterpoint and TPM allows for us to kind of work both at a larger level and then kind of per store, per employee on who's producing the right product, who are the employees that we need to work on, or as we look at different stores, because we cover a 45 county territory, one store is going to sell higher than another. So it gives us the ability to be able to focus in on what does each store do well. And if we know that our store right in the middle of our territory really does well with kids' clothes, and we have another one that doesn't do well in kids' clothes, we're able to start shifting merchandise around and know that when this store gets overwhelmed, we know where to move it.
Yeah, this is definitely a great asset and utility that your stores can use. And I'm glad to hear that it's definitely something that you've benefited from, and you've been seeing progress and efficiency by just utilizing this key report right here. So thank you so much for that, Nick. And we'll definitely give you more time to emphasize everything else you love about the product here in the company spotlight. So with that, I'm going to keep moving on. I'm going to go through, we just went through the sell-through report, like Nick says. This tracks how produced items are selling over time based on color weeks, departments, categories. This helps identify what's moving and what isn't, so you can adjust production accordingly. So now we're going to move into an employee report. What this report does is shows individual employee goals, their current standing, total production volume, and the total retail value of what they produced. It's a great tool for performance tracking and coaching. As you can see here, Matt has reached 324% of his goal. He is definitely getting a raise. Rob is not performing as well based on the current goals that we have set up for this store specifically. What's nice about this report is you have an easy to view dashboard right here, but you can also drill down into a specific store and see exactly what the employee is producing at what price point, and then average price per piece, dollar per hour. Obviously, we're really quick, so we don't have any hours put into here. So we're very efficient. So this is another great key report to drill down, like Nick said, into specific employee issues that they could be having. They're not producing the right, price points for their jeans. Well, let's have a discussion. This provides you more insight to that. Another report that is really helpful is the production overview report. This is a data-rich summary of production output across departments and categories broken down by store. This gives you a high-level view of what's being produced and where. So as you can see, we have total item entries for all stores, the total value, and how many categories were produced. We have bar graphs and charts available for easy to review data across. And then we also have the drill down again. What is being produced in men's clothing, pants, suits, blazers? How are they being produced? Do we need to get more pants? Another great tool to drill down into your production needs based off of a full overview. And last but not least, we're going to go through the top performers. Again, this is present on the producer screen, but this also provides admin and managers the ability to be able to see where their stores land or where their employees land. This can also be put into a nice little icon where it's easy to view and it looks nice and makes you feel good when you're at the top of the list there. So as we can see, M. Gallant, he's absolutely slaying it right now. All these pictures can be used if they want to actually be used for the person itself. Obviously, I do not look like that. So these are our default. So you can update those as you see fit when you update the users. All right. So now that we're done with reports, we're going to, kind of go into what makes this admin screen particularly powerful. And that's the ability to self-configure key parts of your system without needing outside help. You have full control over stations, being able to dictate how many stations, how they're named, and what stores they're associated with. And then we have a company level config. This is where you're going to be able to decide what goals you're looking for your producers. Is it going to be a goal count or is it going to be based on currency, dollar value? But then we can go into labels. This is actually now fully customizable by the customer themselves without needing help from support. It is a ZPL code update. So if you want to learn and figure out how to do all of this, by golly, go at it because it's fun once you get to know it, and you can fully customize your barcodes to look exactly how you want it to. Which, let me back it up real quick. Wanted to show you really quick just what a barcode would look like if you were to produce something. This is an example of a hang tag barcode. You have your store, you have your company, your store, department, category. Then we go into size, price, date, color, QR code, barcode number, and piece number. Obviously, this is a preview. That information would be seen when the product is printed out, but that is an example of a hang tag. And then we can go into an example of a label real quick and show you what this would look like. Sticky label, all of the same viable information, but highly customizable to what your company needs now that you have full control of that ability. So let me go back to my admin screen, back to our company config. So we're going to go into, we just went through labels. Let's go through pricing. Heavily customizable. This pricing is based on, as we went through, price list, quality and conditions, or good, better, best. And you're able to define pricing down to a category and department level. So you can get very granular with your pricing, as well as your store groups, we call them. They're actually price groups. You can have multiple pricing for price groups as well. So easy to define pricing structures that your users won't have to think about. It's already ready there for them when they're during production. We can go through quality and conditions. Again, highly customizable. You can determine what your qualities are called, as well as what your conditions are named with colors associated with them. Next, we'll go into sizes. Each size is a department and category combination, so you can get very granular with sizes as well. As we all know, women's and men's and boys and girls all have different sizes associated with them, so you can set that up to best fit your needs. If you'd like to have it just basic, extra small, small, or if you'd like to include dimensions, totally up to you. At the end of the day, you can flesh that out so that's available for a producer to use when they're producing donated goods. And then last but not least, in the company config, we have the week color setup. You let us know your schedule, and then you can then define your colors based on that schedule. You can add or remove, if you make any changes operationally, colors, and that will the flow will be updated in TPM and flow directly to your point of sale with the new updated color week schedule. All right. And then last but not least, on the admin side of TPM, we have the ability for a barcode lookup where simply a manager can come in if they have questions, scan a barcode, and they would be able to say, okay, what's going on with this specific barcode? Oh, Rob created it. Why did he price it wrong? Then it'll provide more insight into helping or assisting producers get to where we need to be in the production process and make sure that they flow with your pricing structure and they're meeting the needs of the customers. We are also working on this to be a main inventory management for managers to be able to delete or update products as they see fit from one centralized location. So, as I said before, all of these can be adjusted to match your operations, whether you're scaling, testing new strategies, or just streamlining it daily tasks. It's all about putting control where it belongs, in your hands, so you can move at the speed of your business. So, Nick, I'm going to get you in here one more time. I know you've spoken on how valuable this level of independence has been. Would you mind sharing how it's helped your team stay agile or reduce delays during business times?
Sure. So I think the biggest kind of improvement was being able to manage pricing and kind of the different back-end controls, similar to how we do with Counterpoint within TPM. And it wasn't put in a request, okay, we're going to make some price changes. We've decided we're going to go up on some different categories, and having to send that off to RCS and then kind of coordinate, okay, when do y'all pull the trigger so that we can do it on our end? We're able to take that on ourselves and say, okay, we want to make a price change. We want to make it effective on Sunday. And we're able to go in, make those adjustments. Or as recently, we've been sitting in some manager meetings and hearing feedback from the managers and saying, really it would be helpful if we had this price, or we'd like to adjust this as we get into our better best pricing, and being able to go in and make those adjustments on the fly instead of having to push back to RCS to have the changes made.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you so much for that input, Nick. I appreciate that. All right. So let's go to our last and final piece of the puzzle. It's called the company portal. This is a new addition. As Nick has seen, we just converted him over to the use of the company portal. So you can click right here and browse to the company portal right here. If you were to have multiple modules, this main dashboard is where you would be able to access those modules. But really, this is where organization-wide management lives. We call it the company portal. It's designed to give you control over the structure and scale of your operation all in one place. So let's walk through key areas that we're going to find here. First and foremost, user management. You can add new users at any time, and also define their role-based permissions. So to fit your operational structure, whether it's a store-level producer or a regional manager, roles are completely customizable. So each person has access to exactly what they need and nothing they don't need. So here are the roles to be managed. As I said before, you can provide users access to the company portal or not at all. And then we can go into the TPM and you can have multiple role-based permissions as well for specifically TPM. So highly customizable, make sure that people can't do what they're not supposed to be doing. Another piece to the company portal is going to be the product management. So these are the business-defined structures that flow directly from POS into your from TPM into your point of sale. So that means once you configure them here, they become foundation on how your items are produced, priced, and sold across your ecosystem, keeping everything consistent and aligned. So as you can see, we have brands set up. This allows for the AI pricing, and it is department association. It's based on department association. So men's clothing is going to be able to utilize the Armani brand pricing structure with the AI tool. This is also going to be exposed in the API, so that way it'll flow into your point of sale or Power BI tools if you so desire. Next, we're going to go into categories. This is where you can define your categories based on your departments, as well as defining the default label. And you can also update any icons that you wish to resemble the category that you're creating. Totally user defined, simply upload a PNG file and that's that. And last but not least, we're going to go into the overarching hierarchy, and that is departments. Easy to understand, clear, consistency throughout your all stores locations, and completely customizable. So we're going to go into store management next on the company portal. This allows you to group stores together for location-specific pricing. It helps you thus helping you tailor pricing strategies by region, market size, store type. It also supports adding new stores easily as you grow, making multi-location operations seamless and scalable from day one. So, here's the stores. Simply add a new store, throw it in. You're ready to rock and roll. And then we can go into store groups. This is where you can basically set up your price groups. As you can see, we have a store count here. So I have 2 stores that are associated with my high-end price group based on their demographic. And then we can also set up daily production goals, weekly production goals that can then be customizable by the customer or by your needs. So the producers will be able to meet their goals defined by you. And then, all of this is part of the system is providing you the backbone for consistent operations across stores, departments, and users. And it sets the stage for powerful upcoming features, which I'm going to touch on that real quick, give you a little sneak peek. So let's talk about a new powerful feature currently in development. It's called warehouse management. So this is a foundational enhancement that's designed to transform how inventory is managed after production, helping you control movement across your business with greater precision and flexibility. This feature supports inventory movement within a store, transfers between stores and a central processing location, and at a more advanced level, a full warehouse control through a customizable structure. While there's no definitive release date at this time, and I repeat, there is no definitive release date at this time, this feature is actively being developed and is very much on the horizon. So no worries, it's coming. It represents the next major step in Bridgeworks' evolution from a production platform to a full end-to-end donated inventory management solution. What makes this so impactful is that all of this will be fully configurable by you, as always, meaning you define how your warehouse or processing center is structured, not us. It's designed to scale with your operations and align with your specific workflows. Whether you're a single location store or a multi-store network with centralized processing, we got you. And then lastly, on this company management portal, our company portal, we're going to go through subscription licensing. So here in the settings, this is your basic company information, but then we get to go into the subscription part of this. And basically, this allows you, as your business grows, opening more stores, hiring more staff, you don't need to call us. You can manage your license count and usage right here, scaling up based on your needs, thus providing real flexibility for a growing operation. So, our main purpose is give the customer what they need and let them determine what works best for their stores. So let's go ahead and wrap this up, to quickly recap what we covered today. So in production, you saw how intuitive the process is for the producers. We went through multi-item workflows, condition-based pricing, and tools like Stay on Screen that make it easy to learn, easy to use, and highly efficient. It not only speeds up production, but it also helps organize donated goods in a smarter and more structured way. We also went through the admin tools, which give you direct control over critical configurations, pricing, labels, goals, quality settings, all again without having to rely on support to make updates. And then lastly, we went through the company portal. We explored how managing user roles, brands, departments, and categories give structure to your operations, while upcoming features like Warehouse Manager lay the groundwork for scalable growth and long-term inventory control. So thanks again to everyone so much for following along. Sorry for all the information, but now we'll transition into our customer spotlight to hear more about how all this comes to life in the real world. But before that, really quickly, we're going to put up another poll on the screen. So if you could just take the time to answer that'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you all again for your time.
And Rob, before you stop your screen, there is a question you might want to guide. So Stacy had a question: how are items removed when they're pulled from the store, and can you track and report on those items?
Currently, tracking on scan pools is not in place, but that is a common customer request that we are actively working on to get that report in place for scan pull functionality ragouts. So when they are removed, when you perform a scan pull in the API, there is something called is scan pull, and it says yes. So it ensures that it takes the product out of the point of sale itself without affecting the producer's quantity produced. So that way you can, ensure that it's showing that they produced these items, but they were never sold. So their sell-through would represent accurate data. However, tracking on those items currently is not in effect, but we are actively working on that. Good question.
Okay, great. Are licenses by producer or production station? It's by production station.
It is. It's technically by store. How many stations are within that store is how many licenses you're going to need. It automatically assigns a license once a producer logs in to start producing. So if you do not have a license for it to assign at that specific store, it will say, sorry, can't log in, can't do any work. Then you would simply go to that customer management company portal and add a license, and then instantly you will be able to start production. You don't have to wait on anything. You'll just get billed appropriately during the next cycle.
Okay. Chris Pearson asked if you could show a quick demonstration if the Z-Rack is not in a particular order.
Yeah, absolutely. So with the Z-Rack not being in our particular order, say the production, the producer will have men's, women's clothes, boys, all the clothing for the kids and the adults. So what we recommend is favoriting these departments so that way they are on the forefront of the producer's screen. And then you would simply be able to go through, define exactly what you're looking for best, and it brings you right back to the favorites. And then you can go into boys, swim set, boom, boom, boom. Definitely not the most efficient process. So we highly encourage, and this is during, the onboarding, me personally, I work directly with you to specifically work on how to make your production process more efficient, to use the best features of TPM to make your business operations grow and scale. If you have we do have users who have a limited amount of space and availability on stations, so they do it this way. But another thing I wanted to mention is you can even, if you're doing certain categories, you can even favorite those categories and they will show up in your favorites as well. So that's what we would recommend utilizing if you're not going to pre-sort or, have Z-racks defined by department or category.
Okay. Another question around AI. Can AI be trained with specifics? For example, we get salvage from a specific store and we'd like to use the original price as a base.
Fortunately, AI is not trained by any user-defined roles. Where the AI specifically comes into play is we have a web crawler that goes out to thrift store websites, see e-commerce websites, see what the pricing is of that. We also keep a data set of what department category combination is being produced, and it keeps those price points in a repository where it will then provide the price to you at that point in time. It is smart and intuitive, but however, do not rely on it. It's just a great tool to use to see where you stand, but you cannot train it. It's trained as we brought in more customers and as we get more information from the web-based thrift solutions.
Great. All right. So in the interest of time, because I want to be able to give Nick some time to talk about his implementation and the successes, I'm going to stop at the questions that are here and we'll come back to it after the next segment. So Rob, if you could share, and then I'll do my share. All right. Okay. So we are honored to have Nick Robinson here with Goodwill, Northwest Texas. Nick has been with RCS for 6 years, and he's been a valuable partner for RCS. He was on a previous system, and I'm not going to say which one it is. Happy to have you reach out to Nick if you'd like to know that. But what they were lacking was the flexibility, as Nick had indicated, to make changes, limited reporting, and it really caused a heavy workload on his administration staff. So they transitioned to TPM. It has been a great solution for their team. And they really have had the tools that they need to kind of streamline the production staff. So overall, and there is a success story that we'll share with the team that Goodwill Northwest Texas helped our team write. It really talked about 80% reduction in manual workload, being able to provide real-time insights to their frontline staff, and then improve overall efficiency. So actually didn't mean to do that. But at this point, let me turn it over to Nick. Nick, and then we'll open it up for a Q&A. I think I'm going to start with a question around, because we already talked about some of your challenges and what's been beneficial. So one of the things I think we should probably start with, and I know which is on everybody's mind, is the implementation process. How easy was it for you guys to implement TPM? What did the timeline look like? And how easy was it for your staff to adapt? I'm going to stop my share this also. Okay, go ahead, Nick.
So the implementation was really quite easy. Rob and I worked hand in hand to kind of work through what we currently had in place and how could we transition that to make it easy for our backroom staff. Really, the point of sale side was very easy. A lot of it was done on the RCS side since we already utilized them for Counterpoint. So there really wasn't a lot outside of kind of working through some bits and pieces with Rob as to how was this going to carry over so that we could get some reporting that we utilize, and we kind of do it. I think we're set up a little odd because we need certain reporting for the stores and different reporting from an accounting and executive standpoint. But Rob really worked hand in hand with me on that to make sure we could accomplish both both goals in the end. From the store side, the implementation was great because we were able to run through everything, test everything on the back end, and then because the system is not clunky and is very easy to roll out manually. After we rolled out our first store, I sat in my office one evening and just pushed the rest of the stuff out, uninstalled our old program, and because it's web-based, makes it very easy to flow with the stores. The stores really, they logged in and they were like, this is great. I mean, it's almost, we built it almost exactly to how the screens would look from our prior program to this. And I'll say from a technology standpoint, it just runs very well with the current technology we had. We didn't have to go out and buy new printers, any new computers, and very easy to expand. We actually had a store that their computer broke a couple weeks ago, and I had them back up and running in about an hour because really all you're installing on the computer is making sure that the Zebra printers or whatever printers are set up correctly, and then a couple other pieces of software to be able to communicate from TPM to the printer. Outside of that, you're putting a website link on their desktop, and they get to run with it. And for a one-man IT department on top of everything else I do, it makes it so simple to just be able, whenever a store calls, I can jump on their computer, and within five minutes, they're resolved and move on. I think I've had to go out to maybe 2 or 3 stores in the almost, I guess we've been running on TPM for about 8 months now. And I think I've had to go to about 2 or 3 stores to make any adjustments or troubleshoot any items. So the implementation was very simple.
Awesome.
That's great to hear. So what features of TPM do you think really made the biggest difference in your business?
I think probably the biggest feature was the ability, like I had stated earlier, to be able to control the program to our specifications. It's not a cookie cutter program. It's able to be customized down to what's going to work best for Goodwill Northwest Texas. And I was talking to another Goodwill that had implemented, and they kind of wanted to walk through how we were doing things versus how they were. And there's things that we were doing the same, but there's things that we were doing different. And it's really the beauty of TPM is it gets to be customized to how we operate, and we can make adjustments as we're working through it to make it the best for our employees and for our business without saying, well, we really don't utilize this, but it's just how it's going to have to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. And then my last question, and then we're going to open it up to the group, would be, what advice would you give someone who's considering TPM? And maybe even think back to the times before you had an automated system to produce labels.
I think the 2 biggest things, the first would be, while you're going through the implementation process, really take a step back and look at the bigger picture, walk through it, really utilize the pilot portion to your advantage, and make sure everything works correctly. Don't just go in and go, yep, it print tags, it prints labels. Yeah, looks about right. Let's throw it out in the store, but really utilize that time to kind of walk through and make sure everything is going to work the way you want it to in the long run. Make sure that your pricing, you understand, how to put in the pricing. Really, Rob has been great as we walked through that process, and even after we rolled it out in pilot, and then when we rolled it out in the store, we found an issue here or an issue there, and I was able to reach back out to Rob and say, hey, we need to make some adjustments, and we jumped right into that and got the adjustments made. He showed me how I could do that going forward. And that's really the overarching piece of why I've continued to work with RCS is they're not afraid to share the knowledge so that you can run your own business. The other piece, and I'll go back to when we rolled out the prior company, it's make sure that you give the time for your employees to understand this process. It's not a simple, you're not processing. Now you're going to be add a whole nother step. And that was a big piece that I had to work with each of the stores and each of the employees on was the why behind it. Make sure they understand the why, because if they don't, then they just see it as another step that they have to take to get something to the floor. And, now they look back, they are competitive. So they see the reporting. They're like, I'm beating you today. And, stores are getting competitive with one another. But, it's given them that why. And it was a little bit easier for me because when I came to this Goodwill 6 years ago, they didn't even have a POS system. So 6 months into me being here, I threw that curveball out. So I kind of knew how to work with this team 3.5 years later to say, okay, now we're going to take another step and we're going to get the analytics piece. We're going to start looking at our business in a different way. But now, my managers will come to our meetings every month and go, here's what I see and what do you think? And can you look at this report with me? So it's really very robust, but you have to put the why in place at the forefront. Otherwise, you're not going to get the buy-in that you need for this to be successful.
Great. I appreciate that. All right. We have about 15 minutes left, a little less than that. So we're going to open it up for questions for Nick. While we get people throwing some questions in here, we do have some other questions over to Rob or Nick. Feel free to chime in as you see fit also. So the first one that I left off on was, can store pulls be deleted in bulk rather than by individual scan? And that's over to you, Rob.
Currently, that is not in place, but we, with that warehouse management feature, we are something called locations. So essentially, you would be able to pull full week colors into a scrap bin, as we say, which would perform the same type of functionality as a scan pull. But as it stands right now, scan pulls are each individual barcodes populated in a list that you then delete out. But functionality is being worked on. That is also a common request that we get. So we are looking into getting that feature out as soon as we can.
Okay, great. Here's another common request and one of your favorite questions. We often want to produce a different color of the week than the one that is being put out. Is there a way to change the color based on what's being produced?
Great question. So currently, there is not. But with that warehouse functionality that I touched on, central processing needs the ability to be able to produce outside of color week, to be able to forecast a variety of department category combinations for when they're producing. So winter gear's coming in now, right? We're going to start getting into the fall season. Well, with this warehouse functionality, we'll be able to create a bin called fall. And with that, there is what we call produce outside color week. Well, then you'll then be able to define where the producer produces to, fall bin, and then what color you would like to produce that donated item under, thus allowing you to get variation across your color rotation for that specific time period. Another thing to keep in mind that we want to have this available for is new stores. You want to open up a new store with not just one color week available to you. You want to be able to produce a variation so that when your new store opens up, you have a whole, store filled with products that will then be applied to each color rotation discount for the next 4 or 5 weeks, however many you have defined. Common question, again, not currently available yet, but heavily being worked on and will be a part of that warehouse management deployment. So that's why I really wanted to touch on that, because the functionality of warehouse management really comes into key factors that all of these questions are revolving around, specifically, bulk, scan pulling, producing outside color weeks, all of that functionality we are working towards providing you guys.
Great. Another pretty popular question is, does TPM support offline mode?
Again, currently not yet, but that is currently being worked on as well. We want to ensure that production does not stop if you lose internet. And so that is coming down the pipeline. I can provide no definitive dates, but that is on the agenda. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Is there or will there be mobile supported version or an app?
We don't recommend mobile for TPM. It's a web-based browser, so it is supported for auditing purposes, like reviewing reports and everything. But currently, it is not available for mobile specifically. It's not formatted for that to produce on mobile. You can use an iPad or a Galaxy tablet, but again, there will have to be. It's not mobile supported as of right now. We currently recommend using a actual register station. We supply the Nexus units. They're actually sleek, really small, and then that way you're able to get a printer hooked up to it, get your keyboard and mouse hooked up to it, and utilize that. That's what our main preferred method is currently.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell you from experience and speaking with customers about mobile, they want to have their hands free. So they don't want to have to be tethered to a mobile device. So having something on a pedestal on a stand typically is what most people prefer. But again, as Rob mentioned, it is browser-based technology. And we do have some Windows platforms that are available that are mobile that we have tested it on. So there is that. I want to jump back up a few, one that I missed regarding AI. We are finding many AI search options are being developed within the industry, and we're wondering what options you have or are developing besides just the use of brands. Is there any?
Currently, our focus regarding AI is specifically just for brand list. I am sure that our developers and our product manager, Aaron, are thinking of all of the crazy ways we could possibly implement AI into this system. But as it stands now, it is currently only going to be utilized for brand identification and for AI purposes. Like I said, though, they're always thinking of new crazy things. So who knows what the future holds.
Great. And then how about Christmas and Halloween items? We produce those year round and hold them until the season. We currently do not use color of the weeks for those items. Do you plan to support this?
Yes, that the color week, producing outside of color week, just because that will be a functionality that'll be present doesn't mean it has to be utilized. The warehouse management functionality that I briefly touched on will include like the use of what we call bins or locations. So you're getting these Halloween and Christmas items all throughout the year. Well, you can produce it to the bin that is customer defined or business defined, and then at that point you'll have a quantity and value associated with that bin. And simply when it becomes time to move those items to the sales floor, you perform a movement within a store and that'll be used within the warehouse functionality to the sales floor. So you move fall to sales floor until that movement is performed. That product will not be in your inventory in your point of sale. So it stays so that in a bin, we call it, so that way you can report on the value and quantity of what items are there. And then when the time comes, you move it, and then it can be sold in your point of sale system. Again, functionality is not currently available, but it is very much so in our plans to be able to get that function ready for those use cases specifically as well.
Great. Well, that's it on the board. I do have a question for Nick myself. Nick, do you have stations that are dedicated to housewares and then stations dedicated to textiles, or do you have some that produce both?
We actually, the way we set them up is to where they could produce both tags and labels. So we do, in our bigger stores, we do have stations that focus more on a housewares piece, and then on the textile side. But a lot of our locations are a small format, so when they have 2 or 3 stations, everybody needs to use it for whatever. So each one of them we set up with 2 printers, one that would push out tags, one that would push out labels, so that it would just be multi-use.
Okay, great. Yeah, that was my next question. If you have 2 label printers in those cases. All right. I think we've answered all the questions that are on the board. We do have 5 more minutes, so if you guys have questions, feel free and type them up. Do you want to elaborate on anything, Nick? Anything further, or I think we've covered most of everything?
I think we've covered most of everything. It really, just to kind of reiterate, just kind of make your plan. If you feel TPM is right for you, make your plan and then walk step by step through it. Don't try to rush the process because it'll still work, but you're going to do a lot more work on the back end.
That's great.
And as always, change is the most inevitable thing in the world. So just be open to it. And like Nick said, excitement gathers a lot of attention. And when you're excited about a new product and you push that excitement onto your employees, they get excited as well, And so that's one thing is taking this change and making it exciting, and that, trickles down to everyone else who's going to be utilizing the software. Because at the end of the day, it is fun. Data is fun.
We have a couple more questions here. How did you handle pricing furniture?
So we handled price and furniture. We actually utilize, since our stations are set up to use both tags and labels, we'll use either a tag or a label depending on the furniture. At the end of the day, we don't want to damage it, but we buy our labels, and they're strong enough to stay on the furniture, but when we pull them off, it's not pulling, like if I'm putting it on a table, then it's not pulling the stain or the paint off with it. And then on top of that, we if we have some antique piece or some piece that we have more concern on, we do have some harder tags that we'll put the label on top of to make sure that it's not going to damage the furniture.
Great. Another question regarding user management. Does the system support bulk adding and disabling users?
It does support bulk importing users. Unfortunately, right now, there is no bulk disabling. You would have to manually disable each user independently based on the circumstances that need. But yes, you can, when we go through our onboarding process, you define your users and their roles, and then we can import those for you.
Mm-hmm. Right. How do you do furniture pricing using TPM?
How any one of those 3 methods will work, price list, good, better, best, quality, and condition. You can utilize those 3 pricing structures for whatever your needs are based on your furniture needs. And you can also define labels based on, certain departments. So you could have a label for strictly furniture that'll show you piece count and what it is, and then set up a whole pricing structure. It's highly customizable, man. You can do whatever you want, really, That's the best part about the onboarding process and the implementation is I work directly with you to figure out what your current processes are, and then how we can formulate a plan and strategic attack to, not change those processes as much utilizing TPM.
And I will add to that, Rob, that, with furniture, because it's such a broad price range, the nice part about TPM is it allows you to put in your own price. So you don't have to have 40 different 40 item price list. You can have your most common prices, and then, if you get that baby grand piano that you want to put $400 on, you're able to manually put in another price, and it will all carry over.
Thank you. Thanks. I missed on that. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate that, man.
Right. I just chatted the case study for Goodwill, Northwest Texas. So if you want to click on that, we have one more question. A couple more populating in. All right. So our stores do not have label printers at the store. So is there a handheld way to print those furniture tags?
Do not have. So something TPM does require is a label printer. We have 3 supported label printers: the Zebra ZD 411 through the 421. So currently, there is no way to produce items without a label being printed. So I guess I'm unsure of the question, but we do require the use of a label to be attached to the station.
Okay, great. Before we end, I can go ahead. Oh, didn't mean to put that in there. If before we end, I can go ahead and display the customer list again.
Real quick, Chris Pearson, can tag include a week number that corresponds to the week of the year? Absolutely, 100%. So you're good to go on that. How about the ability to export production data into an Excel spreadsheet? Yes, the functionality does exist for the production overview specifically. But if there is something that also needs to be exported, we can discuss that during implementation and make sure that that's available to you at the time of need.
Great. All right. Well, somebody had asked to see the list of customers that are using TPM, so you should be seeing it on my screen. And again, happy to have you reach out to me or Rob with any questions or contact information. And I'll just kind of scroll through that and give you my contact details. Probably start with me. And if I need to coordinate with Rob, I certainly will. But there's my email information.
And if you're thinking about joining, I look forward to working with you all. It's fun.
Yeah. All right. I think, I didn't mean to hit this, but while we're here, this is our recommended hardware. So we have units that we do offer. We can help you with label printers. We have some mobile devices as well that can run TPM. And then we also can help you with labels. So color labels, we have subscription plans. So we can help you with everything that you need to get where you need to be.
And it looks like I was mistaken based off, it looks like we just added support for networked label printer. So apologize about the furniture being mobile. Yes, we can do it. We have networked label printers that can account for that. So I scratched my original statement.
All right. I think we got all the questions. Ability to export production data into an Excel spreadsheet. Did we answer that question? Okay, great.
Yes,
that was what I was looking for my slide. All right. I think we are all set. Again, reach out to me if you have any questions. Or if you'd like to set up a personalized demo for your team, we can certainly do that as well. Thank you, everybody. Amanda, did you want to close it up?
Yeah, I'm going to put one more poll up right now for you all to respond to. And just wanted to say thank you all for joining us today. We had a lot of great questions and engagement, so we really appreciate that. A recording of today's webinar will be sent out via email, so keep an eye on your inbox. And that's about it. So if you could just answer that poll. Thank you all for joining us. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.